Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn sọ́lára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But e dey move closer before dem go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But e dey move closer before dem go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìníhùn ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó lórí kòtò bí àdánwò ọgbẹ́jẹ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí. Ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi, ṣẹ́yìn lọ máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gbájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ, àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ òòdùn kan ní oko lára ni.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbédá ní, òtítọ́ lágbédá ní.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sọdí kẹta.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
A dúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia, we bring you work closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia is around.
To give us the test.
Is around.
To give us the test.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us the test.
Koikimedia.
Wow, it is another beautiful weekend. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé ẹ káalẹ́ o, ẹ káàbọ̀ sí the command center of the Koikimedia channel. Weekend. Mo ní wow, that's a very good audio there. Adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run, èní ní 14th of June 2025. This is a live broadcast. Láti 3 of our studios that are working simultaneously parallel to each other. One is operating from the United Kingdom, where the headquarters of the Koikimedia is based. OLAYOMI KOIKI run all the way from the Yoruba land, and we also have one operating within Africa as well. So mo kí gbogbo ọmọ kóòtù òjíire, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá, àwọn ọmọ Odùduwà, àwa ọmọ ìran ọmọ aládé, àwa tí a ti mú ẹ̀mí wa kúrò látara pé orílẹ̀-èdè ìbò kó wa sínú ẹ̀ ní 1914. A ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìrìn àjò yìí, àwa àti ẹ̀yin àti gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń darí ẹ̀ lájọ máa parí ẹ̀. Mo tún fi àsìkò yìí mo fi ń kí alànà Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, bàbá kọ́lọ́njà rí yín pẹ́. Ẹ kú àdúrótì, ẹ kú àìfiwásílẹ̀, ẹ dẹ̀ kú gbogbo làálàá kòókò pé kíran Yorùbá 60 million Yorùbá people kí a lè láǹfààní láti lè tẹ̀síwájú, láti lè ní independent country tiwa náà tó máa create identity wa, tó dẹ̀ máa ṣiṣẹ́ ju èyí tí a wà nínú ẹ̀ tó ń pè ní Nàìjíríà tí ó ti wà collapse and failed nítorí pé Nàìjíríà ò ní identification. Gbogbo ìlú tó bá máa ní identification èdè ni wọ́n máa lò. Èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ò kìí ṣe èdè wa, èdè tí Britain tí wọ́n celebrate ọba wọn lénìí. Bí yàn bá wo choreography bí Britain ṣe celebrate King Charles lénìí, ṣe ni orí èèyàn máa wú pé bẹ́ẹ̀ gan náà ló ṣe jẹ́ kí gbogbo àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bó ṣe jẹ́ ká máa celebrate wọn, àmọ́ Nàìjíríà ò lè celebrate wọn. So mo kí yín o, mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo fi kíkí mi kí bàbá wa ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà, Kẹ́mi Ọláògùn, kọ́lọ́run jẹ́ ká rí bàbá pẹ́. Gbogbo àwọn ọ̀tá ẹ̀ látorí Tinubu títí dé gbogbo àwọn gómìnà àtàwọn ọba tí wọ́n wà against tó lóyè gbé dání gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ kóòtù òjíire, ọmọ Yorùbá. Gbogbo ìgbà kí ìgbà tí wọ́n bá ń perí ẹ̀ láìda, káwọn tó nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kọ́wọ́lá gbogbo orí tí olóyè ń jà fún. Látara bẹ́ẹ̀, gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń perí ẹ̀ káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé ní ti àìdá, káwọn onílẹ̀ kọ́ ṣe wọ́n mọ́ṣẹ́. Mo fi kíkí mi lọ bẹ́ẹ̀, mo fi kí àwọn deputy méjèèjì tí à ń pè ní the Yoruba self-determination deputy, both in the homeland and likewise èyí tó wà ní diaspora tí a mọ̀ sí Káyọ̀dé Ẹ̀mọ́lá. Nígbà tí mo fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò, mo pe àwọn deputy wa méjèèjì, wọ́n náà wọ́n wà nínú ìpàdé. It indicates that iṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé kí Yorùbá dá dúró under the self-determination movement, it is still ongoing. mo kí George Akínọlá gbowó kú àdúrótì gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ní homeland, kí Ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè kó jẹ́ ká rí wọn pẹ́. Mo wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo fi kíkí mi kí gbogbo executive tó ń bẹ lábẹ́ YSDM tí a mọ̀ sí Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, tó jẹ́ ìkànnì kan tí kò kí ń ṣe political party, tó dá dúró as an independent, tí ó dẹ̀ ń ṣe pé kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá kó láǹfààní láti lè dá dúró láti Europe lọ sí Asia títí dé Africa. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń darí YSDM. We pray that the gods of Yoruba land, fún gbogbo sacrifice yín, because you are not being paid. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń san salary fún yín. You are all doing it voluntarily and we are grateful. So I keep gbogbo àwọn YSDM executive, from the finance secretary to all the leaders and the elders. Mo fi kíkí mi, mo á fi kí all the independent groups across this movement. Ẹ̀yin gangan ni the backbone. Ẹ̀yin ni the backbone of the movement. Tí kò bá sẹ́yìn, kò sí Yorùbá nation. Nítorí ẹ̀yin gan ni the evangelism of this movement. Mo á lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí multi-faith. Àwọn tí wọ́n ń pè ní multi-faith ni the 3 religion. Ìkan jẹ́ tiwantiwa tí a mọ̀ sí àwọn tí bàbá ńlá wa, ta fi sọ pé ìṣẹ̀ṣe làgbà, ká padà sílé, ká lọ tọ̀ bí ó ṣe jẹ́ ká tọ̀ kó lè rí bó ṣe jẹ́ kó rí. So mo fi kíkí mi, mo fi kí multi-faith. Látara multi-faith ni mo kí Yonkan. A ṣe parí prayer pẹ̀lú wọn lórí social media, because the power of the social media òun la máa fi defeat Nigeria. Bóhun Nigeria kó takú póhùn ní lọ, the power of the social media will defeat Nigeria. And we are grateful that even in the midst of our platform and many platforms tó ń polongo pé kí àwọn ìlú wọn kólúkálukú dá wà, they are still shadow banning and restricting the platform. But we are still happy that Ashini access is a Murki Mayon as well, tó jẹ́ the Muslim. Àwọn ilé òkè ṣe can, because àwọn tó wà lábẹ́ can ẹnu wọn ti jẹ dodo, wọ́n lè sọ dodo mọ́. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń pera wọn ní Christian Association of Nigeria, wọ́n lè sọ dodo. So tó bá ń dúró pé o máa rí òdodo lẹ́nu wọn, irọ́ ló ń pa. Mùsùlùmí tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ò kì í ṣe terrorist, àmọ́ a mọ̀ pé àwọn kan ti ní ideology terrorist láàrin wọn. A máa ṣe orientation fún wọn ni nígbà tá bá dé àsìkò yẹn. Ẹ bá mi sọ sẹ́yìn. Ẹ ṣé. A máa ṣe kí ni? A máa fún wọn ní all the orientation. Yorùbá fẹ́ dá dúró, kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀sìn tó gbé dání. Bóhùn ẹ̀ kò má lẹ́sìn. Àwọn kan ní Ọlọ́run ṣe èèyàn kan survive a plane crash. Àwọn kan wá tún wá ń béèrè pé Ọlọ́run wo lẹ̀ ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀? Torí arákùnrin yẹn kì í ṣe Christian, kò dẹ̀ ṣe Muslim. Hindu ni. Má jà torí ẹ̀sìn, má dẹ̀ parẹ́ torí religion. Tí wọ́n bá ní Jésù Kristi, arákùnrin yẹn believe in Jesus Christ, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò believe in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Àmọ́ out of the 240 tó wà lórí aircraft yẹn, òun nìkan ló jáde. Kódà nígbà tó jáde yẹn, a fẹ́ lè sọ pé bóyá ẹni tó kàn lọ gbá football tó ṣẹ̀ jáde ni. Kọ́lọ́run kó foríjì gbogbo àwọn tó kú àtàwọn tí wọ́n wà níbi tí wọ́n ti ń jẹun. 50 of them died. Ọlọ́run ló lẹ̀mí wa, má bẹ̀rù. A ti wà nínú rally, kò sí pé a ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ rally ti wà ongoing. Gbogbo ẹ̀ náà la máa tún bára wa sọ. Ẹ bá mi pín ètò yìí, mo kí yín bẹ́ ṣe ń wọlé lọ́bìnrin lọ́kùnrin. Mo wá fi kíkí mi, mo fi kí ìyá tó bí mi, torí pé tó bá jẹ́ pé bí àwọn èèyàn ṣe ń lóyún nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lénìí tó ń ju ọmọ nù, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá yìí náà bí mi lójú mi nù. irú ọjọ́ báyìí kò ní ṣàǹfààní láti lè máa bá yín sọ̀rọ̀. So mo kíyà mi dáadáa. Ó ń bi mí lánàá, ó ní kí ni mo need, ó ní ṣé kóhun tún fowó díẹ̀ ránṣẹ́ sí mi. Mo ní èèyàn máa ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ màámi náà ni, àmọ́ tó bá jẹ́ Nàìjíríà ni àti ìyá àtọmọ gbogbo èèyàn ló ń struggle. Bọ̀ látara pé mọ̀mísí mi ní owó tó ń wọlé láti pension kan fún, tó dẹ̀ láwọn nǹkan míì náà tó fi ń mú wọlé torí pé ṣòwòṣòwò ni, bí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ̀yin sisters mi, ẹ̀yin àǹtí mi, Nàìjíríà ló kó wa sínú ìlàhílo tẹ́ fi ń tajà tẹ́ rírè, nítorí pé tó bá ní òun tajà nínú Nàìjíríà o lè rí èrè kankan. So mo kíyà tó bí mi lọ́mọ. Kọ́ tó bí mi ní 1978 ni mọ̀mísí mi ti ń travel pé wọ́n máa kọ́kọ́ lọ sí London. That's about 1975. She has been to more than 23 countries around the world. So tá bá jókòó síbí tá à ń sọ pé a fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, àwọn ti rí ìrírí ayé. Ó lọ títí ó dé Yugoslavia kí Yugoslavia tó pín. Bó fẹ́ bó kọ̀ Nàìjíríà máa pín, ẹnu ẹ̀ láwà yìí. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn groups lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí títí dé gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ tí ó ń bẹ láì dárúkọ kankan, torí pé ẹgbẹ́ kan lọ. A bá dárúkọ ẹgbẹ́ kan, káwọn ẹgbẹ́ kan máa ní kí ló dé tá dárúkọ tiwọn. So mo kó gbogbo yín papọ̀. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn committees tó ń bẹ nínú ẹgbẹ́ kankan. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn coordinators láti Kwara. Mo ti bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ ní Kwara State. Kwara ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni, bọ́fẹ́ bọ́kọ̀. If we have to use our last blood, a máa gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn Fúlàní, ẹni máa kú nú wọn ló máa kú, àwa máa yè. Ó ń súnmọ́ bọ̀ ní àti wà ní rally, má tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ péjọ́ ní rally máa bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ó ń progress ni. Mo kí gbogbo wa. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ jókòó. Atútúdé lórí command center of the Koikimedia, and we will be giving you all the updates. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Koikimedia Instagram, a máa switch in a few minutes. Mo fẹ́ lo fóònù yẹn láti fi pé àwọn tíìmù wa ní Yorùbá land kọ́kọ́ máa fún wa ní àwọn few updates. Bí ṣe sọ kò ní update kankan tó ń bọ̀, but bí a títí ọ̀la lágbára Ọlọ́run láti ilé iṣẹ́ wa, àwọn update kan máa wá látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn leaders wa. Wọ́n ṣe meeting lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nígbà tí mo pè wọ́n. Wọ́n ní kí n jẹ́ kó di ọ̀la. So that means we will just carry on as our campaign, our rally. Fúlàní pa wá, wọn ò ní stop. Over 200 people were killed in Benue State again today. Tó bá rò pé Fúlàní máa dáwọ́ dúró torí ojú ọmọ Yorùbá, they don't give a thought about you. Wọ́n ní agenda yẹn needs to be stopped, and that's exactly what we are doing. Ipa tí wọ́n máa kó lọ́la tó bá ti lọ sí church, you have the right to ask your pastor and your imam, tẹ́ bá dá sàlátù, pé kí ló dé tẹ́yin support Yorùbá independent country. Ṣebí Yorùbá là ń sọ nínú church yìí. You can challenge them. Ó ní láti bá wọn jà. But lọ́la ní gbogbo church àti mọ́ṣáláṣí yín, níwájú church yín, any right láti ṣe video in 2-3 minutes. Kẹ́ sọ ìtẹ́fẹ́, kẹ́ lo ohun tí Ọlọ́run fún yín, kẹ́ send sí gbogbo media títí kan media tí ó jẹ́ gbogbo media Yorùbá nation. Gbogbo eléyìí náà lórí iṣẹ́ tó máa ṣe. Má ní bí bàbá ṣe sọ yẹn ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. We follow instruction and we obey orders until the progression of this rally will go into the next stage. Kò sígbà tá ní block títì, ó súnmọ́ bọ̀ ní wọ́n tí ní kó lọ block títì. Kò sígbà tí airport ò ní wà shut down. Nígbà tí attack máa lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ Iran, Israel ló ń sọ fún wọn náà wọn gbọ́. Iran náà wọn ò ní gbà. Tit for tat nílé ayé. Wọ́n ti ní tí kò bá ti sí peace, kólúkálukú lọ prepare fún ogun ni. Ogun ti dé, kò ṣe pé àwọn aṣẹ́fẹ́ lọ sọ pé a fẹ́ dẹ́gunlẹ̀. Tó bá ní kò sógun, tó bá tó bẹ́ẹ̀ níbi tílẹ̀ ṣúdé lálẹ́, gbọ́rọ̀ ọkọ̀ sọ́nà kó náà lọ sílùú ẹ̀, kó wá mọ̀ bí ogun ò ní mú ẹni ju títì. Kò ń ṣogun Fúlàní nìkan ló pààyàn. Àìmọye pothole tó lè pa ẹ́ kó tó débi tó ń lọ láti ìlú ẹ̀, nítorí pé kí ni, for the last 110 years, Britain destroy Yoruba land. Bàbá Akíntóyè ní ẹ jẹ́ ká build ẹ̀. Àwọn kan ní àwọn ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ torí pé wọ́n believe in the man. Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, ọmọ Yorùbá ni, but I'm questioning, and we will continue to ask him, with you or without you, Yorùbá máa lọ. Ẹ̀mí kan tó wà lára ẹ̀ náà ló wà lára tèmi. Bóhùn yìí kẹsà kò ní wọlé lágbára àwọn tó nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, nítorí pé kí ni, a ti pè ẹ́, a ti sọ fún ẹ for 5 years. Ìwọ náà sọ nígbà tí ó di gómìnà ní about 1999 ó lo template Yorùbá nation kí ló wá yóhùn padà ó ní the second term tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ ní second term máa wà ká lọ máa múra fún ogun nítorí pé àwọn Biafra ò ní gbọ́ Arẹwà àwọn náà nígbà Fúlàní máa destroy Tinubu ní 2027 wọ́n máa fi ogun ja Tinubu. We have 2 years windows to lock everything out now. Gbogbo wọn ló mọ̀ pé Nigeria is sitting on the keg of the gunpowder and it's going to explode. Orí wọn ló máa explode sí. Ó ń bẹ̀rù. Ó ní ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ ti pọ̀ jù. Tó bá pọ̀ jù lọ sáàrin odò kó jábọ́ sínú ẹ̀ kó máa bá tiẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ̀rù tó ń bẹ àwọn olóṣèlú mọ̀ pé ẹ̀rù ò bá wa mọ́. Ẹ̀mí tó ń bẹ lára tiwa náà ló ń bẹ lára tiwọn. Mo ní kó lọ tọ́jú trainers. Wọ́n máa sáré. Ó ń súnmọ́ bọ̀ ni. Because my wife keep telling me, stop saying that we're going to destroy anything. Mo know that, mo ti gbọ́. But if they are not going to let us go, kò ní sí ìsinmi ní gbogbo state ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àfi tá bá gba Yorùbá nation. Àwa jọ ní ìsinmi. Ẹ̀yin ọba wa mo kí yín. Ẹ sọ fáwọn olóṣèlú tó ń deceive yín pé kó jẹ́ ká jọ yanjú ẹ̀ àti wà ní rally o. That means yanjú ẹ̀ tí mo mean pé ká gba Yorùbá nation. Tẹ́ bá ní ẹ fẹ́ 2027 ẹ fẹ́ dá ogun sílẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn. Kò sẹ́ni tó ní monopoly of violence. Bẹ́ bá ní ẹ sínwín àwa náà ya wèrè. Wèrè tiwa tọ́jú ẹ̀ pamọ́ ni. And we are going to show it to you because 1% of you cannot destroy Yoruba land. We would rather destroy everything that you own. Every goddamn thing you destroy pata. Any corner and make sure we are file on turn. Property yini, business yini, gbogbo ẹ máa bá lọ ni. Ó better kẹjẹ ká jọ jókòó, ká gba Yorùbá nation, ká draft constitution, ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ government, kí gbogbo wa lè ní equal right. If otherwise, ogun máa mú gbogbo yín ni. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ẹ bá ń pín Koikimedia. I say good evening and welcome. If you are not a non-speaker or you do not understand the Yoruba language, the right of the Yoruba people to exit the contraction that British created has begun not 5 years ago, but many years back. But as we speak right now, it is going into the final stage. Whether the West like it or not, America cannot stop our coming out of Nigeria because America could not stop Israel from attacking Iran. I don't think some of you know what is happening and what is coming up. America could stop. Imagine the whole America cannot stop Israel from attacking Iran. Likewise, America cannot tell Iran not to attack Israel. So America cannot tell us what and how the indigenous people under the leadership. President Trump is not our leader. There can be a superpower, but he's not our leader. He has no right to tell us how we are going to get our country from Nigeria, whether America has their interest in Nigeria or not. We don't give a toss. The United Nations is a very divided organization that was established in 1945 in October. All different countries with all different agenda and different interests. But what matters right now is that our interest is no longer in Nigeria. Our interest left Nigeria many years back. But the deceit and the lies from America, United Kingdom, and all the European countries and the Asian countries that Nigeria is a great country, that we should go and build it. No, we are not building Nigeria. Nigeria has destroyed lives, and it is time that Nigeria goes down. So if the world thinks that they can stop the 60 million Yoruba people rather than support us now so that we can have a cordial relationship and work together with them for a better future of country to country, rather than indigenous people locked into a fake country and being told to go about and fix Nigeria. Nigeria cannot be fixed. We are different peoples of different cultures and languages, and we do not want to have anything to do with Nigeria. So this is just some kind of message to the international community that do not interfere with the current ongoing Yoruba Nation rally that will eventually lead to our country, because it's going to cause a consequence between the Yoruba people and the future Yoruba government with your country, regardless of whatever country it is, be it Pakistan, India, Turkey, whatever country that is going to be an obstacle to the dissolution of Nigeria can also have a serious consequence for a future Yoruba government, for a cordial relationship. The situation right now is that the Yoruba people will not back down from their quest and their right to self-determination, because that right would eventually be activated by our leader at the appropriate time. The current ongoing mega rally across all Yoruba land, as instructed under the leadership of Professor Akintoye, is that the Yoruba people from June 12, which has now become 3 days from today, should all come out across all Yoruba land and demand their right for an independent Yoruba country. And that's exactly what we have been doing. And at least there hasn't been any bloodshed, because nobody can be attacked in their homes for asking for the right to self-determination. Nobody would attack you as instructed right now. At the point that they would try to attack us might be when we are out fully across the streets. But then, whatever the consequence to those that wants to attack, those consequences, they would have to face it, not just in Yoruba land, but even in the international law, because the current administration under the current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been told and warned by the last letter before we came out. And that letter will be recited back again to the international community, that what is currently going to happen in Nigeria is that Nigeria has now finally come to be dissolved, not by international community, but by the indigenous people that are going to do so within themselves. But if the federal government dare try to do otherwise, then the consequence of that with the federal government and the leaders that are controlling the current political status in Nigeria will not just pay a very heavy price, they would also be charged to the International Criminal Court in the future, and they will all have to pay for the innocent blood of indigenous 60 million Yoruba people, be it one, be it two, that died in the course of this quest. The quest cannot be override by another fraudulent election, because the election in Nigeria is not something that can be valid on Yoruba land again, because the Yoruba land is different from Nigeria. The Yoruba land has been in existence for thousands of years, and nobody has challenged that this Yoruba land has not been in existence. I'm passing this message to those international community so that they are quite aware of everything that is playing out currently right now, as millions of Yoruba people are gradually getting their feet after being subjugated, stamped upon by the criminal politicians that have told us lies for many years. And as we speak today, it might be a little bit slow pace as millions of people are coming out. Only my tipo, but gradually it will pick up. It might pick up tomorrow, it might pick up in a week's time. But if anybody there thinks that this rally is going to end tomorrow, that means if it ends tomorrow, that means the official Yoruba nation has been declared. That is if it ends. What would end this rally is going to be a Yoruba independent country by God's grace, by the power of the Yoruba land. Lashedumari. Anything short of that will not be accepted from anybody to anybody, because our right will be respected. And this is why we are saying it clearly to whoever cares to hear these now. Do not try to stop the engine that have kickstarted across Yoruba land. It will be disaster on you. Be you the king, be you a politician, or be you a foreigner that have interest in Nigeria. Nigeria is now under serious question from the indigenous people. And these indigenous people have spoken, and they have spoken clearly, that they do not want to have any more relationship moving forward with this criminal country that Britain created, not for us, for their own selfish interest. So gbogbo Yoruba, don't gbọ́ mi ní gbogbo bí tẹ́ ti ń gbọ́ mi. Go and put your mind at rest. What will eventually be the final part of Nigeria is what we are going through right now. And that is going to be what will lead us to our country. Role tí wọ́n máa play is what you should start thinking of right now, because you would have a massive role to play. And as I prepare back again and tell you quickly for the international community one more time, there's no doubt about it, but let us make it clearly to them that the Yoruba people, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá, àwọn ọmọ ìran wọn aládé, we have decided to forge ahead to make sure that our Yoruba country must come as quickly as possible without any more further delay. Day 3 of this rally, as indicated across every Yoruba land from all indicators, that àwọn èèyàn wa, they are now, and I've said it clearly, that we go ahead and have our own independent Yoruba country. That is what has been given to Baba Akintoye, and that is what Baba Akintoye is now working on with all his groups. Ìwọ tó ń sọ pé we need to consult everybody. Yes, you are right. But not everybody might accept in a consultation. So Baba Akintoye will forge ahead, whether gbogbo àwọn tó jẹ́ other leaders in Yoruba land accept it or not. Because they are not stupid, and they are not crazy, and they are not bomb bastard. They are intelligent, and they know the right that Yoruba people should not have anything to do with Nigeria. But if they do otherwise and say they are stupid and they are bomb bastard, that means that Baba Akintoye cannot wait for them, because the millions of people now that are Yoruba's lives is at risk. Because they are going to put us in a serious danger as the Fulani terrorists continue to move closer into taking every part of our land. Let's start with this, and I'll be telling you more about the letter, and I'll be addressing more the international community tomorrow. You don't want to miss my broadcast tomorrow. We have prepared a public address from the Koikimedia that we will be communicating to all the medias around the globe. So it is important that you all join us tomorrow. Time will be about evening, when we will be coming out and address the international news, media, blogs, to understand the purpose and the reason why 60 million people have made up their mind, and their mind can no longer remain in this fraudulent union that was forced, not our will, not by our power, but by the will of the criminals that decided to use Nigeria and call it a fraudulent amalgamation. 60 million Yoruba people now wants to regain back their true identity. Níbi tí wọ́n fi ń pera wọn ní ọmọkọ́lẹ̀ Yoruba. And that's exactly what is going to happen, God's willing, when I address the World Press Conference from the Koikimedia platform. So ṣe pàtàkì pé lọ́la lágbára Elédùmarè kẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. That has been prepared, that has been drafted, and that would eventually be delivered tomorrow by the power that has been given to me to go ahead on the Koikimedia. Bí mo ṣe ń kí yín, bẹ́ ṣe ń wọlé ní méjì mẹ́ta, this is the time to share the program, because that is the only way you can get more people that are still not in the broadcast to join us. But while we're getting one of our platforms, we still have the Rumble to start. Let me just add this and I'll come back quickly.
Rain on the mix. Gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú. Láparapọ̀ dá dúró, Yorùbá nation won't stand. Gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú. Láparapọ̀ dá dúró, Yorùbá nation won't stand.
À ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ Emeritus Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. Ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. Olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkí, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
tẹ̀lé lórí so gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́fà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ìjòyè wọ́n láwọn ò faramọ́ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
Akọni nínú èèyàn o. Ẹgbẹ́ kò Sunday mi. Akọni tó ń yọni léwu tó ń gbá ní sílẹ̀ lójú ogun. Òun náà pè lálágbára. Mo mẹ́wé mo mẹ́kò mo lóògùn tó ń jẹ. Níwọ̀n bá ní o ṣe níwájú ìbò. Lẹ́lẹ́ tí ó máa fẹ́. Lẹ́lẹ́ tí ó máa fẹ́. Lẹ́lẹ́ tí ó máa fẹ́. Àtìyá o.
Ẹ jẹ́ a jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta ká ṣe kí ni o kàtúyàyà let's come out and showcase ourselves.
ọmọ ńlá mo gbé mú Sunday ìbò òòṣà owó bàbá dání bóyá tí mo bá ní kò òòṣà ẹ sọ pọkùnrin ogun ọmọ májàsọlá.
Moki Uwa, welcome back. Let me quickly just respond to, I don't believe that is your name, but again, everybody has different names. Don't Lori YouTube. Please explain to all Yorubas, Mr. Koiki, we can see Democratic Republic of Yoruba on the map. Ladugbo. And on Google, which one can we believe? Is it Yoruba Nation or Democratic? Can you send me the link to that Democratic Republic of Yoruba on the map? Do you have the evidence? Or are you milking, or should I say, are you under illusion? Because Entoba wà under illusion, lẹ́ni tí ó lọ sí ibi tí desert wà, tó wá náà ń rí omi níwájú òun. There is nothing called any Democratic Republic of Yoruba in the map. So stop being, I don't want to curse you, but just don't be fool. Yoruba country is not being declared, and there's no evidence to such. So that question is irrelevant for me to answer. And if you have been under illusion by lies, you can go back and ask where that evidence are. So you are pointing me to somewhere that you don't have the evidence. Onikemi Losori Google. Why not show us where in the Google? Because Google is not as stupid as many people on this earth, especially with a one click of a button, it tells you whether there is an information that has an answer. So your question doesn't have any answer because there's no answer, and you are one that are still believing under a mirage. So we're sorry. I hope we have not. Yes, we are working towards to have a country, but the country is not yet been declared. The stage Tawa Nisi Onampini, the Yoruba Nation Mega Rally. If you're watching me on Rumble, which has now been activated as also part of our broadcast, let me know and let us know if you can hear me loud and clear. So let's come back quickly. First, let me take us to the YSDM website, because YSDM needs us now more than before. If you have never had or believed in the YSDM, this is the time that they need you to participate in the YSDM Europe, the YSDM in the homeland, because these are the organizations that the international community are working with, directly and indirectly. Let me put this on record. Kò sí group kankan tí ó lọ ń bá international community sọ̀rọ̀ yàtọ̀ sí YSDM. And I believe it's time that gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà nínú platforms kankan ẹ get message right. kò sí individual groups. There are many other groups that doesn't believe under the leadership of Baba Akintoye, and they can replicate what we are doing by saying, I want to say international community on behalf of the millions of Yoruba people. I don't have any evidence to whatever they are saying, but ní alẹ́ ní orí ètò táwọn ṣe níbí báyìí, all I can say to the millions of Yoruba people that Baba Akintoye and all those that are part of the YSDM committees, Baba Akintoye is the chairman of the Yoruba self-determination movement. Wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ ní gbogbo ọ̀nà kọ̀nà ní gbogbo ẹ̀yà láti lè jẹ́ kí àwọn gbogbo àgbáyé tó ń pè ní international community. Lórí ìkànnì Koikimedia náà ni a ṣì wà ní aago 10:00 lólu lẹ́ni 14th of June 2025. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Please share the program because you now have all the medias that are going to be working round the clock, from the Yoruba World Media to the independent media. But right now on the Koikimedia, we have already, as at last night, activated our command center, which is the Koikimedia command center. Níbi tí gbogbo ntẹ kí a mọ̀ lórí ìrìn àjò yìí as the progression. There are many people that are saying many things. They have the right. Nobody stopped them. Whether they release any voice note, whether they want anything changed. But right now, the only organization to represent the gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, even those that doesn't agree, torí pé kò yé wọn, they have no clue and understanding of why we want our independent country. Òun ni pé Baba Akintoye is representing them on their behalf. They might disagree with him in the manner and ways that Baba Akintoye is taking Yoruba people out of Nigeria. But one thing is that orúkọ Baba Akintoye nìkan ni ó wà connected on behalf of the YSDM, that he has been able to push the message. Teba Google Professor Adebanji Akintoye on the Google tonight, it will automatically give you not just his profile, but also who Baba Akintoye is. And that means that Stephen Adebanji Akintoye is not just a professor, he's also the one charting what we call the Yoruba Nation self-determination movement today. Baba was born in 1935. That means Baba was born just many years before 1960. So Taban sọ̀rọ̀ pé 1960. Ẹni tí wọ́n bá bí ní 1960, you cannot be knowledgeable to know what Baba has seen from 1935 up to today. So we are grateful that Baba Onsheni Tiwabi after 1960. Baba was born before 1960. That is Baba Tiwalaye, Baba Tidagba, Otimo, left and the right. Bí gbogbo èèyàn ọ̀dọ́ lẹ́ni, kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ kí gbogbo èèyàn ọ̀dọ́ wa kí ẹ ní àǹfààní pé nígbà tílẹ̀ Yorùbá bá dé, gbogbo yín náà ni ẹ máa ṣiṣẹ́ tí a máa dàgbà bí Baba Akintoye. Torí that is the prayer of Professor Akintoye fún gbogbo àwa tí à ń tẹ̀lé wọn lẹ́yìn. And we are grateful to have him alive with us today. Moni Baba is 25 years old, just before the independence of Nigeria. So kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ fẹ́ sọ fún Baba. Ẹni tó bí ní 1935, ó rákòrò títí di ọmọ ọdún mẹ́wàá, tí kàtẹ́ sọ pé Baba ò mọ̀ kankan in the first 10 years of his life. But what about after Baba become a 25 years old matured man? Baba Olowo, that he also had been not just a mentor, but a father that guided him. So if you are still one of those that disagree with him, Baba has taken it as, oh, Montonche, I want to make sure I want to deliver from the damage that Nigeria has done from the British contraction. So you cannot come out and say, you are not going to say that because you are not older than him and you don't have the knowledge. Because Baba is so knowledgeable in the stand that he was alive before 1960. So he knew everything that Baba Olowo was doing during the Western region. But because the corrupt politicians, the criminal politicians today believe that they can override, the Baba, the power is currently given to them by a fraudulent election that was never a selected one from an independent Yoruba people. Because truly and truly, most of the politicians today will not even be able to run as a politicians because they don't have the credibility and the integrity to call themselves politicians. We all seen them across as they have traveled down from all their countries. You can name them. Femi Gbajabiamila was a criminal in America that stole somebody's money and came to run an election. Dapo Abiodun was a fraudster in America. Tinubu was a druggie. He was involved in cocaine because drug money was found in his account. He might tell us that he doesn't know how he got there, but you are the owner of the account and you know that this is a corrupt money. So truly and truly, we are even going to run a proper election with politics in Nigeria. All these criminal politicians should have no say. But because Nigeria is a corrupt country that British created, so you're not going to get anything out of any of your politicians because they're criminals. From the governors to your commissioners, even those that return back from abroad that you expect them to perform. They cannot perform because Britain has not given any right to the Yoruba people to perform in Nigeria. The right is under the Fulani and the devil of Sokoto that call himself Sultan of Sokoto, a criminal Fulani man that Usman Danfodio, that is his own grandfather, has told him that you must take Yoruba land as we took Hausa land in 1806. So if any Yoruba person is out there that you think you can have cordial relationship with the Fulanis from the Sultan of Sokoto as our king continue to visit him, I'm not sure why. Sultan of Sokoto agenda is to destroy the livelihood and never allow us to get our identity back. So our fight that the YSDM is using by telling all the Yoruba people to come out across Yoruba land. But Omo Yoruba Mberu, if I come out, Tinubu or Sanwo-Olu, Dapo Abiodun, Seyi Makinde, they will attack us. They will put us in the prison. Let me put it out today. From the day Tatijade Funrali, they have no right to do such because their right has now been challenged under the rules of self-determination. And that's exactly what we are doing right now. So, Emma Beru, Emma Foya, Ìbẹ̀rù ni British ti gbé sí gbogbo àwọn ọba níwájú láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ti kó wa lẹ́rú. For many years, more than 500 years, Britain was using Yoruba people and many African countries for slaves. And any slaves is good because you are not paying anything for it, of anybody. You just continue to use them until you are satisfied, and sometimes àwọn ẹrú are thrown to the crocodile to eat up. For that going on for many years. We were told that the slave trade was coming to an end after many battles to stop it, even though as of today, the injustice of the world is still ongoing. The slaughter of humans continue, whether you like it or not. All you can do is just look at what is going on in Palestine today, and you will cry for the genocide being committed by Israel. But yet, the world moves to the side until now that even David Lammy, because I just picked it up from my brain now that I saw something around it, and I'm going to talk about it quickly because I was shocked that David Lammy is now calling that Britain should support Palestinian independent country. Hallelujah. This is someone that is telling Yoruba people to remain in Nigeria for another 50 years. Owan Sofon Ilue Nisingbe. This is the time that UK must now recognize Palestinian as a country. Wow. When I saw this, I was not shocked. But in Yoruba, this is the platform that you want to sit, because this platform guides you to what is happening internationally, so that to ban Yoruba country, you will fight it with your blood till the end. And that's why I told you all, I am your last man standing. Let me quickly take us to why David Lammy is supporting a British government to endorse and support a Palestinian state. But the same Britain that created Nigeria and added Yoruba people into it with 60 million people is telling us to remain in one contraction called Nigeria. Can you see why fighting with our blood is worth it now? And how do we fight it? By just coming out in front of your house, take picture, upload it. That is fighting with your blood. And when the right time comes, gradual system will shut down every Yoruba institution, from the State House Assembly to your government, because they will not be able to function if they think they will. Because we have asked for negotiation for Nigeria to be dissolved, but they have refused. But Mufefun Bobomo Yoruba need opportunity to hear what David Lammy is saying about why they should give Palestinian a state. Kill me by that. Palestinian become an independent country. But the same corrupt Britain, criminal Britain, cannot come out boldly and tell it as it is that every indigenous people within the created country in 1914 should go their separate ways. What a very hypocrite country called Britain. They are crying for another country. But the one that they created that has now become a devilish country where millions of people are killed year in, year out. 200 lives were lost again in Benue State. Only 10 people died in Austria. The whole world was shaking as if the end of the world is coming. But the world keeps mute because we are told that we are not humans. But when Yoruba people becomes an independent country, our humanity will be respected, and the humanity of others across the borders of Yoruba land that are our neighbors. We will look after them. We will protect them against the jihadis, the terrorists. We will help them to develop. We will help them economic-wise, because Yoruba people have what it takes to stand as a country. Because many of the countries today, from Latvia, Slovenia, they don't have what it takes, yet they are running as a country. So let's look at what David Lammy said quickly before we go back to the YSDM, because the YSDM needs us and they need us to support it with financial and everything ẹni tó ti darapọ̀ mọ́ the YSDM, whether the Europe, Africa, or Yoruba land, please let us do so. These are some of the headlines that I was able to pick up from Google. Just like ẹni tó ń béèrè lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé ṣé Democratic Republic of Yoruba ti wà, kí mi lọ béèrè lọ Google. Google lè sá mi lóhùn because kò sí nǹkan kan tó jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí Google. So don't be stupid for those of you that are living in mirage. Talks to start on recognition of a state of Palestine by Western states. The French foreign minister said this week, we cannot leave children of Gaza legacy of violence and hatred, but they cannot talk about Yoruba people because France has a stake in Nigeria using Tinubu right now, another criminal to criminal. Because when you look at the President Tinubu, is running a criminal government by giving the Yoruba land to the criminals in the European country. Because Tinubu knows that he will not be alive for a very long time, but he's ready to sacrifice Yoruba land for another decade by the Europeans to run it. That is why David Lammy can come to Nigeria and say, we should go and sit for 50 years. But the same David Lammy is now crying out loud that Britain should speak up quickly for the lives of the Palestinians. I believe Britain doesn't know the millions of people that have died innocently. The blood of millions of Yoruba people have been spilled. Yet David Lammy doesn't have the guts to come and address and speak out as it is that Yoruba people should go. So this is why trust anything Britain at your own peril, because Britain is another criminal country to destroy Ile Yoruba, and they're not going to let you go. But what we can do is what we are doing right now, as we are in the day 3 of the rally. Follow the instructions and the order and the obey, because if you don't, it can have serious consequence in the last stage of this movement. You listen and you follow the guideline. We are on the right track and we are going to defeat Nigeria because Nigeria is going down. Listen to David Lammy.
Clear. No one has a veto on when the United Kingdom recognizes that Palestinian state. That's the first thing.
Let me tell you his body language. He doesn't want a Palestinian state. He's telling lies. I can tell looking at his body language. But what I like to present delay because the pressure that the West have sat back and allow millions of people in the Palestinian to continue to die from the blockage of Israel. Just like they are watching us dying on a daily basis. You think that Britain doesn't know that 200 people... I got to pick this call. It's very important. And I would just continue with the video quietly.
The second thing is that I recognize that there are some who see this as symbolic. And there are countries in Europe that have taken this step recently. But on another set of questions I got from the committee, whilst it was a symbolic act, you've got to ask yourself, did it change much on the ground? And the sad conclusion is it didn't. And so we have always said that recognition is not the end in of itself. 2 states is the end in of itself. And we would prefer recognition as part of a process to that 2 states. And so we will continue to talk to partners about that. President Macron has had a lot to say about that most recently alongside the Saudis. And of course, we are in discussion with them at this time. Britain has always played that role to contribute to progress on the ground, not just a symbolic act. And that's the detail and the granularity of the diplomacy and our engagement.
That is David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary of Britain, that came to Nigeria and told Nigerians that are gullible that they should go and sit back. Nigeria will be the 5th largest economy. He is now arguing with UK and the European countries in talks to recognize a Palestinian state. But the same Britain doesn't have the guts, doesn't have what it takes to come and tell millions of indigenous people why they need to go their separate ways without a bloodshed, which is possible. But as it stands right now, you are likely not to find a peaceful dissolution of Nigeria because the West doesn't care about any indigenous people. So if you are one of many Nigerians and in your loose lips that Nigeria will be a flourishable country, you are deceiving yourself because that is what the West is telling you. The same Britain that brought in a fake amalgamation is now crying out loud that it is time that a Palestinian state is recognized. Let's go back again and hear from another angle. UK Foreign Secretary says France and UK are now in talks to recognize a Palestinian state. Why do you think they are now in talks? Because blood is spilling on a daily basis in that region. Not that blood is not spilling in Nigeria, but they are not satisfied with the amount of blood yet. And that is why Baba Akintoye is doing exactly in a very calculated way that yes, we got to remember that. Because freedom, you don't buy it in the market. If we are going to go that direction, which it's going to happen at some point, if the system does not bow down for Yoruba people to go. And the system in Nigeria bow down, and that is why the mobilization continue to build up until we hit it in the way to ma dun gbogbo àgbáyé, because gbogbo àgbáyé ló di Nigeria mú. Wọ́n lo àwọn olóṣèlú yín ni. Àwọn olóṣèlú yín dẹ̀ mọ̀, they are criminals in actors, and we got to stop them. Because as Netanyahu said, and I quote, I will pick it up in his address to his citizen, that if we do not fight now to be able to destroy Iran, we are likely to also be in a big mess. So that means that if they can defend their land, who else will come and tell you to defend your land? Something that you know. I've had argument of people saying, security no, Yoruba nation. No, you have Yoruba country, you declare your country, you look after the security as your first priority. You can't be in Nigeria and be talking about efficient security. How are you going to do that? What you need is a country as quickly as possible. And that way, that country would then secure the borders, would then secure the Yoruba territory. Like I said, we have a very hypocrite country called Britain. And if you trust them in anything that they say, the question is, can we trust them? Because we have seen it all the way and manner they were able to lie to indigenous people that were merged together in Nigeria. So mo tún fi àsìkò yìí mo fi ràn yín mo fi sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, this is not the time tẹ́ máa sọ pé ó ti sú yín àti wà lójú kókó. Tó o bá ní aṣọ tó fẹ́ wọ̀ tó jẹ́ white, get whatever you have. Kódà tó bá jẹ́ aṣọ ogun ni, máa wọ̀ jáde lójoojúmọ́, máa fi múra sílẹ̀. Baba Kos lo white as the guide, because definitely kò ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló máa wọ white. But we are using the white, as I'm wearing a white, but he also has a black emblem of Koikimedia. Whatever you have, key Yoruba will become a country within the next 2 years. If we do not support this vision and mission, Tinubu will be the president of Nigeria come again in 2027. And that means that there will be more war, because he will try to rig himself back, but the Fulani will now become explosive. One might explode. Yoruba. So àsìkò tá wà yìí, àsìkò tó ní iṣẹ́ nínú gan ni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ nìkan tí David Lammy sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí in another video, and then we move away. But ẹ máa rántí pé this is the same David Lammy tó wá sí Nigeria, tó wá sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Nigeria pé Nigeria will be the 5th largest economy. Ó mọ̀ pé irọ́ ni o. Òpùrọ́ ní gbogbo ẹnu ẹ̀ bó ṣe wà yẹn. Òpùrọ́ látòkè délẹ̀ tó ń parọ́. But nítorí pé ìwọ ò mọ̀ pé ó ń parọ́, ìwọ rò pé òtítọ́ ló ń sọ. I am now telling you that David Lammy ó parọ́. Iṣẹ́ tí àwọn bàbá ńlá Britain náà ṣe nìyẹn. Wọ́n parọ́ fáwọn bàbá ńlá wa. Ẹ fún wa lẹ́rú, a fún yín ní jígí, a fún yín ní shinap. Gbogbo ẹ kíní ẹni mo rí ní museum in Liverpool, Slave Museum it is called. If you have the privilege and you're living in the UK, in your lifetime, take a day out, and come back and tell me if you're not going to cry. What we are fighting for, as I have it now, Netanyahu says, and I quote, in his public address, Israel is defending freedom in the Middle East and beyond. Yoruba is defending freedom in Africa and beyond. Awani ìmọ́lẹ̀ ayé, and we must use every strength. Tó bá ń dúró de àwọn takasúfè tó yé wọn, tó ń jó tàlàzó káàkiri, àwọn ọmọ Indomie, tẹ́ bá dúró de gbogbo àwọn yẹn, wá wipe gbogbo yín dànù. Fúlàní máa pa gbogbo ìran wọn tó ní ìran tiwa pa, because Fúlàní ò defeat wa rí. Mo sọ fún yín pé orí social media kọ́ láti fi gba Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation orílẹ̀ wa láti máa gbà. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí David Lammy sọ moving forward quickly because of the time.
Understand why you raise that, Lord Brokott, and let me be clear. No one has a veto on when the United Kingdom recognizes that Palestinian state. You see the body language. They cannot even be clear that they are going to fully support a Palestinian state. And this is why diplomacy can never give us a Yoruba nation. Yes. Tó bá jókòó pé diplomacy la máa fi gba Yoruba nation, that means pé ò tí mọ inú odó tá ń dọ́ra sí. Wọ́n ní tó bá ń gúnyán nínú ẹ̀pà odó, àbí tó bá ń gúnyán nínú tó bá ń gúnyán nínú epo ẹ̀pà, tó bá ń gúnyán nínú epo ẹ̀pà, o mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ pàṣẹ rí ṣẹ́ ọ̀yẹ́ tó bá ń gúnyán iyán tó bá ń gun nínú ẹ̀, ẹni máa yó. Àwa ti wà lẹ́nu tó máa yó, but a fẹ́ defend láti gbà. Problem tá a ní nísìnyí yẹn, a ti yó already, because ilẹ̀ tí ó jẹ́ tiwa, ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ arákùnrin tẹ̀ ń wo ìtò represent Britain,
generation to generation like that. But she mama wa ta mama lọ nìyẹn. And irọ́ ni Britain fi pinlẹ̀ Nigeria, and they cannot even be honest with the Palestinian people, even though ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń ṣàn lójoojúmọ́. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ń ṣàn nínú Palestinian ló ń lọ lọ́nkàn yẹn. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa, please share the program. We are not going to be here. It's just 2 hours. By midnight, I will end this broadcast. David Lammy yìí lè ń rí ọmọ Caribbean ni. Àwọn bàbá tiẹ̀ náà migrate lọ sí UK ni during the Windrush. Táwọn Britain nídìí àwọn ẹrú tó máa bá wọn ṣe underground wọn ṣe gbogbo iṣẹ́. Ó dẹ̀ wá ń sọ nísìn, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa nínú Olúwa, mo kẹ́yìn sheik, mo kẹ́yìn babaláwo, ìyáláwo àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbà lágbà. Tẹ́ ń fojú inú, tẹ́ fi ń bá rally tó wà níta lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ lọ. Ìwọ tó ní ó ti sú ẹ. Diplomacy kala máa fi gba Yorùbá nation. Lóòótọ́ diplomacy ni YSDM náà ń lò, àmọ́ wọ́n ti ní ká jáde nísìn, so kò sẹ́ni kankan tó stop ẹ. 10 ni yín, 5 ni yín, ẹ lè kóra yín jọ. Mo kí gbogbo yín, ẹ má bínú torí mo ń record, mo lè fi máa dárúkọ kó máa wọnú recording mi, because I'm recording the VN of this that needs to be sent out later. Bí a bá ń gúnyán nínú ewé, òkè wọ́n ní nínú ewé ni, tí a bá sè ọbẹ̀ nínú èpo ẹ̀pà, ẹ ṣé gan, ẹni máa yọ ayọ̀, ẹ ṣé for that correction. Bí a bá ń gúnyán nínú ewé, tí a bá ń sè ọbẹ̀ nínú èpo ẹ̀pà, ẹni máa yọ, àwa ti yó, but àmọ́ tó wà lórí ilẹ̀ wa. Kò sọmọ Yorùbá kankan tó gbọ́dọ̀ máa sọ pé òun fẹ́ defend Nigeria. Àwọn tó fẹ́ defend Nigeria ni àwọn olóṣèlú. They are not 1%. A máa gbára wa ní ìgbò gidi pẹ̀lú ilé tá ń bá lọ ẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹnu mo fi ń bá yín sọ. Ẹni mi Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ni mo ń sọ̀rọ̀ this time around. Ẹni mo ti sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀rí ní 2023 àmúṣẹ. Ilé tá ń bá lọ ẹ̀ tí a bá múṣẹ á kù díẹ̀ ẹ̀ríran wò. Ẹ lọ tọ́jú trainers yìí dáadáa torí ẹ sá eré. You have a lot to lose. Tí ẹ bá fi Britain fi píni àwọn èèyàn wa mọ́lẹ̀, tẹ́ ń dẹ́rùbà wọn, tẹ́ ń lo the power of ilẹ̀ tí ẹ generate owó látàrẹ̀, ẹ wá ń suppress àwọn èèyàn wa mọ́lẹ̀. They will revolt and fight back. Wọ́n dúró fún the final push. Àti wà ní rally, ẹnìkan kan máa sọ pé gbàrà fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ rally, but the final push tó kù ni wọ́n kàn dúró dè nísìn, and I'll leave it like that. The final push. Má bẹ̀rù, má fòyà. David Lammy is like another agent bí Tinubu. Ìyàtọ̀ tiẹ̀ ni pé ọmọ dúdú lòun tí Britain ń lò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ against Africa, bó ṣe lo Barack Obama against Africa. They have done many worst, but they cannot do anything to stop Yoruba people. Strategy tó kù, ẹ filẹ̀ fáwọn tó wà lókè. Má confuse ara ẹ. Wọ́n tí tó bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn tó pera wọn lólóṣèlú látọ̀dá àwọn tó ń pera ẹ̀ ní Tinubu. Nàìjíríà ó ti lọ completely. Fúlàní fẹ́ destroy ẹ̀, àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ nígbà lórí ilẹ̀ wa. Let's listen quickly to David Lammy because of my time.
That's the first thing. The second thing is that I recognize that there are some who see this as symbolic. And there are countries in Europe that have taken this step recently. But on another set of questions I got from the committee, whilst it was a symbolic act, you've got to ask yourself, did it change much on the ground? And the sad conclusion is, it didn't.
It knows on the symbolic act, now look on one endorse a Palestinian state, but could make any influence this sally. Why? Because anything ó dé wọn lọ́rùn mú, òun náà ṣe ní Israel. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ kọ́ bá Israel sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n ṣe kí ni, wọ́n play monopoly. Ọmọ tó ń pè ní monopoly. Wọ́n play chess. Wọ́n fi ayé Yorùbá, wọ́n fi ń ta kàlùkàlù. Gbogbo àwọn olórí burúkú tó kúra wọn ní Europeans tó dà nǹkan rú mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́, tó wá ń lo àwọn tí wọ́n ní ṣoríire tó ń pè látòkè délẹ̀ láti Tinubu dé sàlẹ̀, they are bomb bastard. A máa jàjàyí délẹ̀, ẹ̀mí yín máa bọ́ sí látòkè délẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ governors yẹn. Chaos gidi, crisis gidi, ó máa erupt. Ó súnmọ́ bọ̀ ni. In tá à ń ṣe nísìnyí pé à ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé ẹ ṣáà jáde kọ́ mọ̀ pé à ń ṣe Yorùbá nation. Ká tó move sí the next phase by phase ni. Tẹ́ bá rò pé election kan tún máa ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, nǹkan àyà bàjẹ́ gidi. Ẹ má ẹ̀ kó dé stage yẹn, ẹ̀yin ọba, ẹ wọ́n àwọn olóṣèlú pé kọ́ pé bàbá Akíntóyè kájọ mú Yorùbá nation yìí, ká declare officially together, kólúkálukú ṣe kí ni, ká pull out from that structure. If not, láti Jẹ́bà títí dé sàlẹ̀, gbogbo bridge yẹn pátá, everything will be destroyed. Mo sọ fún yín, ó kù díẹ̀ ni. Kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa wá sàlẹ̀, kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó máa lọ sókè. Kò ní dá fún gbogbo yín, fún ìyà tẹ́ ń fi 60 million jẹ. Kò ní dá fún yín látòkè délẹ̀. Ẹni tó bá ní kó dá fún yín, kò ní dá fún òun náà. For the pain that you have put us in by listening to all this fuckery and bomb bastard, don't parọ́ fún wa. I don't have to listen to all this bullshit. Let's move away from there and come back home. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, mo ní kẹ́ fọkàn yín balẹ̀, ẹ̀yin bẹ̀rù. Lord dira ní tìbílẹ̀ gidi ni mo sọ fún ẹ, forget about kíní. Torí wàá lo ìbílẹ̀ yẹn láti fi gba tọwọ́ wọn jáde. Ó ti yẹ tí mo mean by that. Torí tìbílẹ̀ yẹn ló máa fi control tọwọ́ wọn, ló máa fi gbà. Let's come back to the letter because like I said, we only have 30 minutes left on this broadcast. Bàbá sọ fún Tinubu before we came out on the 12th of June. But this is the final letter. Mo sọ fún yín pé bàbá ò ní kọ letter mi sí mọ́. Letter tá bá máa kọ sí nísìn, declaration letter ló gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́. Pé a ti declare ara wa from this fuckery, the British create this messed up weird country. Tó ń pè Nàìjíríà tó gba identity kúrò lọ́wọ́ ọmọ ìran ọmọ aládé. Gbogbo wa wá ń jẹ egungun káàkiri. I don't have to go into all that. Ẹ sọ fún gbogbo àwọn tó ń ṣe politics, ẹ má fẹ̀mí yín ṣòfò. Ṣorí ìwọ tó ń sọ pé ìwọ ló máa protect wọn, má fẹ̀mí ẹ ṣòfò, torí in tó máa nà ẹ́ ò ní rí. Àwọn tó nílẹ̀ Yorùbá gangan ti wọnú àwọn alálẹ̀ ti dìde. Yorùbá rò pé mi mo fi bẹ́ẹ̀ jà, èmi kọ́ máa bẹ́ẹ̀ jà. Òkúta bá yín jà, igi á bá yín jà, ẹ máa drive, igi á wó lu mọ́tò yín á pa gbogbo yín lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìtò máa bá yín jà, ó ti wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Gbogbo tó yẹ kẹ́ ṣe tẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, àwọn tó nílẹ̀ yẹn máa mọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ yín. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ yín máa bá lọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín, ó súnmọ́ bọ̀. You will be, ẹ máa sunkún tọmọ Yorùbá sún for 60 years tó fi sọ fún yín pé ìlú yóò wọ̀, oníkálukú máa bá tiẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ wá ń ṣe tọ̀ìtọ̀ì. Ibi tẹ́ bá ti ń ṣe party yẹn, building yẹn á wó pa gbogbo yín, ẹ máa kú síbẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wà nù plane á já torí ìkàlẹ̀ ṣe fún ọmọ Yorùbá. You have put Yoruba people life in more danger by accepting Fulanis kọ́ máa bọ̀ nísàlẹ̀ àwọn yẹn wá di egungun sí wa lọ́rùn. Tinubu has been given the last warning. Mo kí bàbá wa kí n má fojú pa yín rẹ́, ọmọọba Abiodun Grace, mo fi tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ mo fi kí yín, mo kí wọ́n ẹ̀tẹ́kù náà. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin governors ẹ̀ tó tẹ̀ ń pera yín. Bàbá Akíntóyè ti ṣí wálẹ̀, àmọ́ a ṣe ń ṣe rìhásà ni. Kí ni mo sọ fún yín? A ti wà nù rally already. Bàbá Akíntóyè ti ṣí wálẹ̀ àti stop that Nigeria now. Òun ló wá easy nísìn because a ti gbàṣẹ pé ká jáde nísìn, but àṣẹ táwọn èèyàn ń dúró dè nísìn ni pé ṣé gbogbo ẹ̀ ní kó lọ straight Koiki bó ṣe ń sọ yẹn. Níjọ́ tí bàbá bá ti fún wa ní that final part, tèmi bá ti lè jáde tí mo gbọ́ tí bàbá sọ, that means that fire to fire ni, fire to fire la máa fúnra wa. Mo sọ fún yín pé ẹ jẹ́ ká yanjú ẹ̀ ní ẹ̀gbọ́ for 5 years. Ẹ pè mí lóríṣiríṣi orúkọ, ẹ pè Ìgbòho lóríṣiríṣi orúkọ, ẹ pè gbogbo lóríṣiríṣi orúkọ. Mo ní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lọ ní sùúrù. YSDM is working round the clock. Àṣeyọrí ni tiwa, kò ń ṣàṣetì. Ọba tó ní wá, ó ní ká lọ máa fohùn síta, ó ní ká múra sílẹ̀ bíi ti eré kọ́, bíi ti ìjà gidi. Má jẹ́ kẹ́ni kọ́kọ́ sọ pé kò ní sí ìjà máa wà gidi. Torí the enemies are working with Britain. Olórí burúkú ni Britain. Netanyahu olówà níwájú mi. Ó ní Israel is defending freedom in the Middle East. Àwa náà defend the freedom ni because our life is now at stake. And our freedom means we go out there without listening to anybody, because Israel náà gbọ́ràn. Gbogbo tó ń sọ fún òun ní gbọ́. Òun máa ṣe tìfẹ́nú òun. Ìfẹ́nú wa yẹn làwa náà máa ṣe. Bá ṣe máa ṣe là ní sọ fún yín. We will do it as Baba Akíntóyè has told us. Òun lẹ́wọ̀n níwájú yẹn. Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel is defending freedom in the Middle East and beyond. We are doing so against a tyrannical and radical Iranian regime that wants to build atomic bombs to destroy us. Èmi sọ fún ẹ pé fẹ́ destroy wa, ìwọ ń sọ pé tèmi ń sọ pé ká destroy ẹ padà, ìyẹn ló ń dùn wọn. Kí ló dé tó rò pé Israel ṣe ń destroy Iran? Wọ́n náà wọ́n nígbà. Kò ń ṣe pé Israel ò ní atomic bomb, another hypocrisy there. Àwọn ní atomic bomb, wọ́n ní Iran ò gbọ́dọ̀ ní, torí wọ́n lè trust Iran. Ìwọ wá ń sọ fún mi pé ọ̀rọ̀ tèmi sọ yẹn ló ń dùn wọ́, but ọ̀rọ̀ tí Fúlàní sọ kò dùn ẹ́, bó ṣe ń pààyàn, tó ń gé orí èèyàn, tó ń ṣe jàǹbá lórí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá on a daily basis. Ìyẹn ọkàn ẹ kò dùn ẹ́, but tèmi bá sọ pé a máa bà nǹkan jẹ́, ìyẹn ló máa ń gbọ́ sétí. But Fúlàní tó pa Mr. Gbenga Owólabí, èèyàn mélòó ló compensate family ẹ̀ nísìn? Àtẹ̀dúpẹ́ pé family yẹn wà l'Amẹ́ríkà. What about Tolúlọpọ̀ Arótilé tó pa tíjọba pa? What about Délé Gíwá tó pa? Olè criminal Tinubu kò lè fún Shaw Williams nígbà tó ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn honorary tó máa ń fún wọn ní Nàìjíríà. Criminal. Kí ló dé tó ṣe fún Shaw Williams? Ṣèbí fún Shaw Williams ló yẹ kó di gómìnà according to Baba Adébánjọ, wọ̀dẹ̀ parọ́ mọ́kù. Kí ló dé tí kò lè fún? Kí ló ń bà lẹ́rù tó fún Shaw Williams? If Israel can defend their freedom, ìwọ náà fi defend it. Ta ló máa bẹ̀ defend it? Òun dúró kí diaspora. What more do you want them to do? Kí ló fẹ́ kí diaspora ṣe kí gbogbo wọn máa bọ̀ nílé kájọ wá defend it? No. Ìwọ tó wà nílé lọ máa defend it. Tí ìwọ bá ti lè láyé escape, then o ní láti wá defend it. But as long as you are in Yoruba land, o gbọ́dọ̀ defend it pẹ̀lú blood ẹ̀. Òun dúró de wèrè kan tó wà lórí mídíà kan tó sọ fún ẹ pé tàbí jáde ọmọ apáyín, ìgbà wo lọ ń pààyàn náà l'Amẹ́ríkà, ìgbà wo lọ ń pààyàn ní Germany. 10 people were killed in Austria. Wọ́n pààyàn bíi 10 ní Austria. But ayé wọn bẹ́tà ju 200 million tó pa lọ ní Nàìjíríà. 10 tó pa ní Austria yẹn ó sàn ju èèyàn 60 million lọ. According to them, we are doing so against a tyrannical and radical. Ṣé Fúlàní ò wà tyrannical? Wọ́n ti fún mi ní update nípa lérè tí Fúlàní fẹ́ pa ní Igbójayé lọ́nà Òkè Ògùn. Sísítà mi yẹn náà ń gbọ́ broadcast mi. Ó ní àwọn san 2 million yẹn o. Tọ́lọ́pàá rí bèrè. Wọ́n ní because àwọn sọ fún ọlọ́pàá pé kó fáwọn ní letter headed paper. Kọ́ dẹ̀ sọ ìtọ́ fífi 2 million yẹn ṣe. But Fúlàní Sẹ́ríkì ó wá láti another local government, ó wá arrest ọmọ Yorùbá tí Fúlàní ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀ fi pa. Ìwọ wá ní pé yàn tí wà radical. Ìgbà ló ní. So when do you want it to be radical? Ìgbà ó gan ló fẹ́ kó wà radical. At what point would you want it to be radical? Ìtẹ́mi sọ ìyẹn ló wà ó wà pain about tí Koiki ń sọ. Ó wà pain about the radical and tyrannical of what Fulani have done. I will make all of you feel it now, because sometimes there are things that we can do and show you. Bóyá inú àdùn sí. I have a very limited time. I'm not sitting here all day because most often kò sí time. Ìbàdí gan gbogbo ẹ̀ ló ń dùnyàn. So we can only do what we are going to do. But I want us to just remind us that the Fulanis are not joking with us. If you ever think that they are joking with you, please, mo bẹ̀, mo rẹ̀, don't accept any bullshit from anybody to tell you that in tí Baba Akintoye àti Igboho ń ṣe àti Koiki tó ń pariwo yàyàyàyàyàyà tó ń sọ pé DSS olórí burúkú DSS dà nígbà tí Fúlàní pa wá. Níbo ni olórí burúkú gbogbo àwọn gómìnà yìí wà tí Ògún máa pa, ó máa mẹ̀jẹ gbogbo wọn látòkè délé, á mú àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí wọn àtàwọn fámìlì wọn tó bá careful. Torí pé ègún bẹ lórí gbogbo ẹni tó bá ní kí Nàìjíríà sì dúró, ègún máa wà lórí yín táyé ayé ò dẹ̀ ní parẹ́. Don't be deceived about that. Ayé kankan parẹ́. We will go according to our time. Ìyàwó mi sọ fún mi, èmi ni mo rí fídíò ní orí news yẹn. Olówó billionaire àmọ́ bó ṣe ṣẹlẹ̀, ó lọ swallow bee, ọmọ tó ń pè ní bee tó máa ń produce honey. Billionaire ni ó gbàbẹ̀ lọ ni. Èèyàn kan dẹ̀ wà nínú plane crash, ó ń pe Jésù. Ṣé Jésù ló yọ kúrò nínú plane crash yẹn? Ṣó sọ fún ẹ pé òun sin Jésù? Ṣé ẹni tó jáde nínú plane crash yẹn ó sọ fún ẹ pé Mùsùlùmí lòun? Hindu ni. Má jàjà ẹ̀sìn. Freedom ni kò jẹ́ ká jà fún. Ká lo blood wa ká fi jà tó délẹ̀. Má worry nípa pé o fẹ́ lọ jà torí Mùsùlùmí kan. Fi Mùsùlùmí sílẹ̀. Kó fi Christianity sílẹ̀. When your time comes, you will go. But one thing is gbogbo àtàwọn broadcasting. Let me 300 years we are dead, we are gone. Yoruba land will still be existing if we look after it today, because I want to look after it. Lèmi àtẹ̀sí sọ pé a ṣì ní ilẹ̀. If you think that gbogbo tó ní, mo ní ẹni tó jẹ́ billionaire, ó fi gbogbo ẹ̀ sílẹ̀, kò mọ̀ pé kó máa dé wá bá òun níbi tó ti ń play golf. He died. Ẹni tó wọ flight tó ń bọ̀ ní London, ó walk out of the aircraft. Ìyàn fẹ́ lè rò pé bí ó kọ̀ lọ gbá bọ́ọ̀lù ni. Àwọn tó ń jẹun, mo wo fídíò àwọn medical students yẹn, oúnjẹ tó sì ń jẹ ó wà lórí table, wọn ò mọ̀ pé plane ń bọ̀ wá crash wá bá wọn. We have already been crashed and we should be ready to die for it. See, any one of these criminals, politicians are telling you, do not die for it. Why? If they die because of the politician. Why are they dying to become a politician? Because criminality from Tinubu all the way further down. Wọ́n ní wọ́n sanwó lé Tinubu ní nígbà tó dé ní tó padà sí tó dé sí Nàìjíríà ní 1999. Kò mú £1 padà. But ó fi Lagos State, ó fi jalè, gbogbo yín tẹ́ ń wò mí báyìí nísìn. Point to finger and tell me business wo ni Tinubu ṣe tó fi dolówó? Níbo ló ti rówó? Kò ń ṣòwò nìkan, àti Igbo, àti Hausa, àti Middle Belt, àti Fulani, they are all criminals that doesn't want your life to be better, and your life will be miserable. Oh, I'm our miserable. No more reason to show we're miserable. The time to end it is now or never. Let's quickly listen to this.
Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How would the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
Babino, my mic was muted, is back on. We are still in the third day of the rally. And the rally is going on as planned and as instructed. Our Instagram is going to go, but we're going to come back in a minute. Moki across the board where you're listening on our command center that has now been opened. Mofe remind you as freedom is something that you must be prepared to sacrifice. But teba fun awon the YSDM, all it takes, we will get there, but it's going to drag. Or my drag array. So if you have never been involved in this movement for whatever reason, or you were involved and you sat back and you left it, you are doing it because Yoruba land is under threat. And that threat will go ahead forever. And that is why Professor Akintoye made it to Tinubu that only Lati accept the truth and nothing but the truth. Buhari is not going to listen. Tinubu as well is not going to listen. But the good thing is that Baba was able to tell Tinubu the truth. And what is the truth? That Tinubu should accept that this failed country called Nigeria is not likely to come back. Mama fail sini, ama fail sini. And in the interest of everybody to have peace, the dissolution needs to happen as quickly as possible. But the same Yoruba politicians are playing a monopoly with the lives, like I said earlier, of our people. Ó wá ṣe ni láàánú pé gbogbo bí bàbá ṣe ń bá wọn sọ látijọ́ tí bàbá ti ń bá sọ, Tinubu doesn't want to accept the truth because òtítọ́ ó máa ń korò bí bitter leaf last month addressed to him on behalf of the 60 million. I'm just going to go straight towards the end of that letter. You can get a copy on our website, koikimedia.com. And this is the last paragraph from that letter. And most importantly to us, Mr. President, please, jọ̀ọ́, grant us, gbà wá láyè, your Yoruba people, àwa ìran ọmọ Yoruba bíi tiẹ̀, that which we have asked for in our separate letters. Irú lẹ́tà yà ti kọ́ sí ẹni tó ń bẹ níbẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ tá à ń pè ní Fúlàní ọmọ Buhari. A dẹ̀ ti kọ̀kan sí wọn náà rí ní April last year. This is the second letter to Tinubu. Tinubu rò pé òun lòun ní ẹ̀mí ara ẹ̀. Ó ti gbàgbé pé Ọlọ́run tó lẹ̀mí yẹn ó lè já okùn ẹ̀mí yẹn anytime. So thinking that it can run through another 4 years in the government of Nigeria without thinking about the consequence of what can happen to his people. Tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá lọ́bìnrin lọ́kùnrin lọ́mọdé lágbàlagbà. Ó wá ń fi gbogbo wa ó fi ń ta kàlòkàlò. Ó fẹ́ òun náà tó ń subjugate wa, even though ó ti sọ pé Yorùbá nation rí, ó dẹ̀ no one believe in one Nigeria. The paragraph goes again like this. What we have asked is that in time béèrè fún, you as the president of Nigeria, ìwọ tó jẹ́ olórí gbogbo ìlú tó ń pè ní Nigeria, should facilitate negotiation. Jẹ́ ká kó jókòó ní tùbítùbí, ní tọmọlúàbí, ká yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Between representatives of the Nigerian federal government, ìyẹn àwọn àjọpọ̀ àwọn committee tó máa gbé wá, and of the Yoruba people tí ó represent Yoruba under the YSDM, for the purpose of negotiating our Yoruba nation peaceful separation from Nigeria, to enable us to go and nurse the pain. Ìrora tí Nigeria ti fún wa. There is a sister tó lọ́mọ tó ní physical challenge. Kò síjọ́ tí bá rọ́mọ yẹn tó ń post ẹ̀ lórí social media. My pain goes as if èmi ni kìíní yẹn ṣe. Nílùú tí ó ní gbogbo nǹkan, ìjọba ò lè tọ́jú ọmọ yẹn. Just like kò lè tọ́jú arúgbó tó ń bẹ nínú ilé, just like kò lè tọ́jú any single one of us. Nigeria ó ṣe pain and ntí a lè fi jẹ́ kí pain yẹn máa ease díẹ̀díẹ̀, ẹlòmíì pain yẹn ó sì máa mú lọ torí pé shock pain Nigeria ó ti pa ẹlòmíì sára. Even tá a bá gba Yorùbá nation, inú àkọ́ dùn, but pain yẹn á sì wà níbẹ̀. Tí Tinubu ò bá fi àyè sílẹ̀ pé ká lọ níwọ̀nba tí rally ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nísìn, ẹ̀mí Tinubu máa já sí. Ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ á já sí. Torí bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ẹ̀ ṣe máa já sí ni pé àwọn tó nílẹ̀ Yorùbá máa fi gbogbo nǹkan bá gbogbo yín jà, ẹ máa sùn, ẹ ní lè dìde. Ẹ gbé apá yẹn ò ní ṣe gbé. Ẹ máa fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀, ọ̀rọ̀ yín máa wà wá tí bàbá máa fi make a declaration. That is what is going to happen. Because ẹ̀yin kọ́ lẹ nílẹ̀ yẹn. Ẹ̀yin kọ́ lẹ ní authority lórí ilẹ̀ yẹn. Authority ilẹ̀ yẹn wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó nílẹ̀, àwọn ọmọ nílẹ̀. And Tinubu life will go just like all your governors from Dapa Abiodun, gbogbo wọn ẹ̀mí yín máa já sí, and the past governors. You think that you can play politics again as you have done for 26 years? Kò lè possible anymore. Fulani is not going to give you the room. The Igbos are not going to give you the room. So the separation is now better. Let us separate before Kasala go bust. Because this Kasala go bust. If anybody is doubting it, there are many things playing out quietly in Nigeria. Kasalayema bust, and death will overshadow you all. Let's go back because my time is getting closer. I have just 15 minutes to the end of this broadcast. From the command center of the Koikimedia at exactly 23:34 local time. Tomorrow, we have a special broadcast to the international community on our platform. You don't want to miss it. From the 12th of June, this platform has elevated away from just creating awareness. We are now on a full defiance to gain back our country. Ọ̀rọ̀ à ń sọ̀rọ̀ gbẹ̀gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ mọ́ síbẹ̀. We are going forward and we are not going backwards. The criminal Yoruba politicians must now understand that the separation is going to happen with you or without you. And on a final note, Baba says, to enable us to go and nurse the pains and wipe away the tears of our battered people. Àwọn tí ẹ ti fìyà jẹ fún 60 years. Ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ mọ̀ bóyá èèyàn lòun mọ́ àbóhùn kì í ṣe èèyàn. And to go and build a sovereign state of our own land where people can live a marvelous and a fantastic life before death will eventually come to them at the appropriate time. Be it old, young, where we can rebuild our lives according to our desire. Nigeria, and that means whatever we are saying and you disagree, there will be destruction to your lives. You will not be able to live on that land because àwọn tó nílẹ̀ máa deal pẹ̀lú gbogbo yín, pẹ̀lú gbogbo mọ̀lẹ́bí yín pátá. Our culture and our capabilities, a country where we shall diligently provide abundant opportunities for our people. From the day a Yoruba government will be declared, it will be a crime for you to post your account number on the social media for fun to support your lifestyle, whether you are sick, whether you're a deceitful person, whether you're hungry, whether for medical. It will never happen again in the history of a Yoruba country. Ìjọ tí Yoruba government declare, they must put it as a mandate because you will be well taken care of as Britain is taking care of its people that are now complaining that whether you work or you don't work in the United Kingdom, you have the right to a welfare state. That is it, Your Excellency. Forcibly keeping us in Nigeria, ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ sọ fún Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu. Game tó ń play ó ju game tó ń play lọ. Tó bá rò pé òun play game kan, òun fẹ́ fowó play. It could end up becoming even worse than Yugoslavia because kò ń ṣàwà nìkan lánàá fi lọ. So whoever knows Bola Tinubu or Sheyi Tinubu or Remi Tinubu, pass this message that it is in the interest of all the indigenous people that Nigeria needs to be dissolved without any more delay. Anything short of that going to 2027, Fulani will destroy Nigeria further to what they've done since Britain gave them the power in 1914. The destruction of Nigeria by the Fulanis is just the beginning. Keeping us in Nigeria forcibly, to ban force in Nigeria, what you are doing is that the gas will explode. And when gas explodes, many of you have seen that editorial resigon toward the far away can be affected. Because a gas explosion is a very terrible one. Bola Tinubu dissolve Nigeria peacefully now is the message tonight on the day 3 of the Yoruba Nation Legal Rally. But keeping Yoruba and the rest of the indigenous people in Nigeria is only prolonging our people's abominably deprivations. Only ever surely in Nigeria, your life will remain miserable until death will approach you. Insecurity and pains, please act now on this without delay, being the 3rd day of this Yoruba Nation peaceful rally that is still ongoing across all the Yoruba land. Your Excellency, as you will by now have perceived, the motivation of this letter of your Yoruba people to you is love. Toxic. I've seen couples that thought they can still live together. The love is not there, they end up killing each other. Or one has killed one. It has happened even lately as couples that are arriving on the depression of the United Kingdom thought that they can still operate like they were operating in Nigeria. One died for the other. This just happened last year, just recently. Love that we are giving Tinubu tomorrow, next day, the 5th day, the 6th day of this rally can be toxic. And when something is toxic, it cannot be clean until you reset the button again. Anywhere that there is a toxic, you gotta find out if it's toxic. The toxic is Nigeria or Yoruba people. We want to take it out. If Tinubu refused to let it go as this love of the letter from Baba Kitoye, as Baba said, the people to you is love. Love for you as a talented Omoko Yoruba. That is if truly you are not a Fulani, whom God has graciously elevated. Konshagbare, you could have been killed by Abacha. If you have waited, I believe, more days before Koto Japa and resided in the United Kingdom as an asylum seeker, you could have been dead like Kudirat Abiola and many people that Abacha killed. Not that you are not good to be there today, because if Buhari can be the president, that is a Fulani that came all the way from wherever it comes from. You have what it takes to be the president as well. But what we are saying now is, in the interest of every one of us, Baba Akintoye says, your egbon as ever, Baba Akintoye ti pẹ̀lẹ́ egbon, àwa ọmọ ẹ̀gbọ́n tí o rò pé wọ́n ló jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n wa, a máa tójú bọ̀ ẹ́, a máa fi ọ̀ka méjèèjì fọ́ ojú ẹ̀ jáde. There will be blood spilled and you will be held accountable for all the blood. Ẹ̀yin tí a jọ ń ṣe Yoruba Nation, as I bring this broadcast to an end, it is the day 3 and there's nothing for you to be scared of. Remain firm, remain as you are going to be to take your land back from the criminals that have held it in the interest of Britain. This is the time that everybody would pay the price that they've done on our lives. As you attend the first day of the church service and the mosque service, or whatever service is that you believe in tomorrow as a Sunday in the first week of the rally, pray for the land and pray that the blood of the enemies will be spilled across Yoruba land as quickly as possible. My name has not changed, and my name has still remained the same. OLAYOMI KOIKI, known as the Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. It is a multiple fight, but it can be done strategically across Gbogbo Yoruba. Don't be the enemies and don't be the more. We are now talking about life and death here. This is no longer a joke. Don't be the enemy. My Jota Nibitade. Because as the enemy, maybe I should just quickly show you these in the last few seconds before I go. There are many slaves. And as the slaves were all being paraded, it is important to know, according to Natal Tunnel, so many years back, slaves, one of you will sell us out. Who is what we don't know. That history will still play back. Nigeria will break. There's no doubt about it. But you, as one of the traitors, look at that image. I purposely want you to see it clearly. So let me see if I can remove the banner. Now you can see it clearly. I hope you can read it clearly. Nat Tunnel said to 1,000 enslaved militants, and we're 1,000. How many of you all want freedom? Question mark. Freedom. I'm sure women are also okay. Freedom. Freedom. Okay, that's fine. We believe you. Offer freedom. Offer kí Ọlọ́run lo gbogbo àwọn tó jẹ́ akọni wa láti olóyè Ìgbòho títí dé Bàbá Akíntóyè ẹ mọ̀la gbogbo wọn pátá àtọkùnrin àtọbìnrin gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ tolúkálukú wa wà náà ẹ̀ àbí. I agree with you. I believe you. I am not doubting you. Obìnrin ni yẹn mọ̀ doubt ẹ. Gbogbo groups there were. All the 1,000 said they all want to be free. So gbogbo àná la máa sọ pé tí bá ní ta ló fẹ́ freedom, gbogbo iná la máa sọ pé a fẹ́ freedom, including myself. How many of you are willing to do whatever it takes? Gbogbo nǹkan tó bá náà máa gbà láti fi gba freedom yìí. How many of us are going to do it? Step forward. Máa bọ̀ níwájú. 900 of them step forward. Nínú 60 million, 50 million have stepped forward. 10 million wà lẹ́yìn. Then he said, the first thing we must do is to kill those 100 cowards standing behind us. Ṣé gbogbo ẹ̀yin 10 million yẹn máa pa gbogbo yín dànù ni? Torí ẹ̀yin lè máa ṣàkóbá dàbá fún wa. That is why we can never wait to become a unity before we forge ahead. Because they are fucking 10 million bastard Yoruba people. Tolori burúkú wọn tó ti dọmọ Fúlàní. They will take you out. Those are the ones that needs to be taken out before we go forward in this rally to the next stage. Keep an eye across gbogbo Lutewa, gbogbo àwọn ọ̀dàlẹ̀ yẹn. Because they are our biggest enemy. Àwọn ẹ̀gọ̀ngọ̀ enemy yìí. Kẹ̀tọ́ ni àwa Fúlàní ẹ fẹ́ lọ bá nínú igbó. And I'll be reminding you this from tomorrow until the final day. We kò ṣe gbogbo 60 million ló fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Àwọn tó forward síwájú ló fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Ṣé ní gbogbo àwọn tó wà lẹ́yìn yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ take one out because àwọn yẹn ní ọ̀tálẹ̀ Yorùbá tó máa ṣàkóbá fún èmi àti ẹ̀. That is where I can take us tonight. I pray that the gods of Yoruba land guide us, be with us, protect us, and stay with us throughout the days, the weeks, the months, the years. I pray it doesn't go to that extent. But Toba Day stage come, this can go into a couple of months. Kò ń ṣèjọ́ kan ní rally tó máa fi gba Yorùbá nation. Kò ń ṣèjọ́ méjì, kò ń ṣèjọ́ mẹ́ta. Kódà ká dá gbogbo lóru, kò ń ṣèjọ́ kan yẹn náà ló máa gba Yorùbá nation nínú rally yẹn. But one thing is that this rally will eventually lead us to our independent country. If 50 million step forward and we take out the remaining 10 million, whoever is in that 10 million, it could be your sister. These are your enemies that will take you out before you know. And on that note, I will leave you and say a very good evening, good morning, good night from the Yoruba Nation studio that is called Koikimedia, because that is what they stand for. We have not done anything more than using our media to prepare the exit of 60 million people out of the created fake country by Britain to remove our true identity, and the end of it is coming. Oriel Amason, good night.
She